My name is Steve Lessard. I'm the creator of the DryMate, a personal dryer. I'm here today to demonstrate to you some of the benefits of owning a DryMate. The DryMate has all the characteristics that many of the shoe and boot dryers out there have, as it has heated forced air blowing out of tubes that are there for mounting your wet shoes and boots. Most have 2 or 4 tubes. I found this a little inadequate for my family unit, so the DryMate comes with 6 tubes. The center 2 tubes are of a smaller diameter to accommodate some of the smaller kids' items that we use it for. I enjoy a lot of outdoor activities and have discovered that everything I get damp or wet doesn't actually fit on a tube. So I changed it up a bit to make it much more versatile to dry many other items that don't fit on a tube. By making the tubes removable and adding a drying rack, the DryMate becomes a very versatile year-round dryer for many smaller items. Sometimes we need a drying tubes and the drying rack. Here's a great example of that. A good example is these helmet with gloves. There's cycling helmets, snowmobile helmets, many type of helmets we wear, get very hot and sweaty, and drying them is of great advantage. Other items that we try to put on a tube to dry, the sandals are a great example, so is a glove. To go on a tube and the air just comes out the sideways and it doesn't dry at all very well. So having a drying platform to sit them on is much more efficient, as you can dry the whole item and not just parts of it. So having the drying tubes in a rack and the rack is very convenient. Other times you need no tubes and a larger drying rack for some bigger fishing items. This fly bag of mine is a great example. I go out fishing, it gets wet and damp, that's not unusual. So there's different things in here. Well, before I store it away for a couple of weeks on the shelf, before I use it again, there's many items in here. I just want to dry things properly to store them before I put them away on a shelf. That's a great use. Hobbies like ceramics, model makers, there's many just hobbies and smaller other applications out there that we need to perform a function, and then we need to wait for it to dry before we can go on to the next step. So having a forced air drying rack for many of those different activities really helps speed up that process and make it just a little bit more enjoyable for us. There's other items that we've run into that you may have around the home or the cabin or anywhere you happen to be that don't like going in a dryer. They get wet, they get damp, and they just simply don't like being put in a dryer. I once had to have a very uncomfortable conversation with my granddaughter about a stuffy she went to get out of the dryer, and I never really want to have that conversation again. So having a drying platform that's quite gentle to put our things on really comes in handy a lot of the time. The applications are endless when you think of the versatility of the tubes and the drying rack. So to wrap it up, the DryMate can operate with 6 tubes, 2 tubes in the drying rack, or the drying rack alone for items that need a bit more room. Drying items will prevent mold and mildew from damaging our things, take care of our things to help them last longer, and serve us better. The DryMate is CSA approved, and there's a patent pending on it. So thanks very much for watching, and keep your stuff dry.